All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle a huge security headache for pretty much any modern IT team. How do you manage security certificates for devices that are almost never on your corporate network? Well, the answer is a really cool, powerful service called the Certificate Enrollment Policy Web Service. So let's start with a really practical question. I mean, think about it. You've got remote work, you've got cloud services, and you probably have a bunch of devices that aren't even joined to your main domain anymore. So how in the world do you make sure they have the right security certificates and policies? It's a massive challenge, for sure.
So let's really dig into this off-network problem. The core issue is actually pretty simple. You see, all of our traditional IT security was basically built for a world where every single device was sitting safely inside an office. But the moment a device leaves that building, leaves that network, well, the old rules just don't apply, and things get complicated fast.
And this is where you really see the split, right? When a computer is on network, it's easy. It can chat with Active Directory, it can get policy updates, it can enroll for certificates, no problem. It's a trusted part of the whole ecosystem. But an off-network device, man, it's basically stuck on a desert island, totally cut off from all those critical internal resources. It can't get the rules it needs to stay secure and compliant.
Okay, so if the device can't get to the policy, how do we get the policy to the device? This is exactly where our solution comes into play. The best way to think about it is like a super specialized, super secure delivery service, but just for your security rules.
And here's its official name, the Certificate Enrollment Policy Web Service. Yeah, it's a mouthful, I know, but it's just a specific role you can install on a Windows server. And its one and only job is to let your users and computers grab that crucial policy information, even when they're totally off the grid, network-wise.
And that secure career analogy is perfect. Imagine this service has the special clearance to go inside your corporate network. It picks up the latest security policies right from Active Directory, and then it travels securely over the public internet to safely deliver them right to your employee's laptop, wherever they are. Coffee shop, home office, airport, doesn't matter.
Okay, so we get what it does. But how does this courier service actually work? What are the mechanics behind the scenes? Let's break that down.
The whole process is actually pretty elegant and, most importantly, secure. First up, the client device connects to the service using an encrypted HTTPS connection. Simple enough. Then, step 2, the service has to authenticate the client to make absolutely sure it is who it says it is. Third, once it's verified, the service turns around and queries Active Directory using LDAP, that's the standard protocol for this stuff, to find the right policy. And finally, it securely delivers that policy right back to the client. Done.
And what's really cool is this isn't some strange proprietary magic. It's all built on standard, well-known technologies. WS Trust is just the protocol that defines the language for the request and response. We all know HTTPS, that provides the secure, encrypted tunnel for the communication. And LDAP is the time-tested language for talking to Active Directory. It's all solid, proven tech.
Now, I want to circle back to that second step in the flow, the authentication part, because it is absolutely critical. The security of this entire system really hinges on making sure only authorized clients can get that policy information. This isn't just about convenience, it's about closing a major security gap.
So how does a client prove who it is? Well, the service supports 3 main ways. First, there's Windows Integrated Authentication, which is totally seamless for any machines that are joined to your domain. Second, there's Client Certificate Authentication, where the device actually uses an existing valid certificate as its ID card. And third, you've got the classic username and password.
And here is the most important part of this whole section. There is no anonymous option. You just can't do it. Every single connection has to be authenticated. So you got to think of this less like a public website and more like a secure checkpoint for your most important corporate security policies.
All right, now let's talk about what I think is one of the most powerful uses for this service: automatically renewing certificates for your entire fleet of remote devices. This is a feature called key-based renewal, and honestly, it is a game changer. It's designed specifically for this off-network problem. It lets a computer use its current certificate, the one that's about to expire, to prove its identity and then automatically request a new one, all without ever needing to connect directly to the domain. This is huge for managing remote devices. But, and this is a big but, there's a really important trade-off here. When you configure the service to run in this special key-based renewal mode, it becomes, well, highly specialized. It will only accept renewal requests from devices that already have a valid certificate. It's going to flat out reject any requests for brand new first-time certificates. This specialization is super important to remember.
because it might mean you need to deploy more than one instance of this service for different jobs.
So, let's zoom out. What's the big picture here? The Certificate Enrollment Policy web service is basically a vital bridge. It extends the reach of your internal public key infrastructure, your PKI, way beyond your firewall. And that's what enables secure, automated certificate management for the way we all work today. On the move, from anywhere, and on pretty much any device.
And that really brings us to our final thought. This service isn't just a nifty tool. It's a perfect example of how we need to adapt security for a new reality. It really forces us to ask a much bigger question. As the old idea of a secure network perimeter just disappears, is the rest of our security infrastructure actually evolving with it? It's definitely something for all of us to think about. Thanks for tuning in.